All right, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. We'll get started where everyone else does. As far as earliest childhood memories, what are we getting into?
Childhood memories, man. I would say early on, they call it soccer here,
Okay. Yep.
but we call it football back home.
Absolutely.
And yeah, man, I played, I think, since a kid. Like, I remember early childhood memories playing, like, in the sand. Like, you saw
Okay.
these, you see these pictures of old soccer, like kids playing on sand with, like, and their goalposts was, like, two rocks.
Yeah.
We basically had two bigger rocks on each side, and yeah, early memories were just like playing soccer a lot, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you remember like your parents pushing you towards a direction? Was it pretty much just go play out with the kids outside, or what are we looking at?
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
It was mostly, just go out there.
Okay.
Yeah. And my family really, like, my dad was like, whatever you love doing, man, just keep what you want to do. It was never like forcing to do something.
Okay.
But yeah, like, just go out and play most of the time.
What was the activities family oriented? Was it more so hanging out with kids? Like what did a week look like as a younger kid?
A week was like I would say a normal, like, we would go to school in the morning.
Okay.
We would take the bus early in the morning, which was probably like 6:30 in the morning.
Okay. That's early.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very early. School used to start, like, we would reach there like an hour before school started.
Okay.
So
And is this elementary school, preschool? What are we
kindergarten,
Kindergarten.
till high school, man. 6:30 every
Well,
day,
all right.
day of
Let's
the week.
break this down. Where is this?
I grew up in Dubai.
Okay.
So, well, basically close to Dubai.
Gotcha.
So there's a city called Sharjah, which is right next to, like, I would say they border each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
And however, I grew up in New York, but I was born, in New York, and my family, moved to United Arab Emirates. We lived in Sharjah,
Okay.
but my dad used to work in Dubai, and Dubai was very close. Like, I would say, like, you could 20-minute ride from the city.
I don't know. You say pretty close. And when I went there with my wife on my honeymoon,
Yeah.
so we went, Dubai was on the way back from Bali. We thought we were just going to walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, that did not happen.
Well, it depends on, like, it's not like a walkable place. It depends where you're at.
Yeah.
Because, if you think about it, it's a desert.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And they built, a city in a desert. So there are some places where you can walk to places, but then it's like in the summer, you really can't.
Yeah. Well, so is that why school was so early for you? Because they couldn't have you waiting
Well,
outside?
they would, because of how the transportation system worked.
Gotcha.
They would pick up, kids from almost, like, we would have so many kids in the area
Oh, okay.
going
Okay.
to one Pacific school. It's not like in the U.S. where you're from or whatever the boundary
The
lines are.
location, yeah.
Location, that school you'll go to. You could go to if you were living in one city, you could go to another city and go to that school.
Okay.
So it wasn't like so we were in a private school, and I remember every day 6:30, and there was times where I remember missing the bus, like 5 minutes late,
Yeah.
and we would have to run to the next stop.
Ooh.
Where maybe another guy would be picked up, and
Yeah.
I remember those days, man.
So when you're going to a private school, is it a bunch of kids that are trying to pursue academics? Like what's the reason for private schools versus the public schools?
I would say private school, you would have, like, it's a more American curriculum.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's more, I would say, diverse kind of culture, and you got people from Europe.
Oh, okay.
So it's international school. Yeah, they teach you in English, and I remember I couldn't, like, spell or, like, read or write really good until, I would say, at least middle school.
Okay.
So it took me a while. A lot of kids got it early, but for me to learn English was, like, hard, man, especially the grammar.
So I'm still working on the grammar. So what was spoken at home compared to what was spoken at school?
Originally, I'm from Pakistan.
Okay.
But my whole life I lived in United Arab Emirates. So I can understand Arabic.
Gotcha.
I can read Arabic. but I'm not like fluent. But I'm fluent in Urdu. So
okay.
Back home we would speak Urdu.
Okay.
So and then when I was in school, you would speak English most of the time.
So just so many like it,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
America or American kids have it so easy because a lot of people want to learn English, but then we're over here like, oh, we only really learn about what happens in America, and we're lucky everybody else is like, hey, that's a good place to learn about. So as far as academics went and like it was tough learning in English, did your parents ever say like, hey, you have to do better in school, or what was the conversation around school?
I was like not the brightest kid because English was always it was difficult.
Yeah.
So understanding the comprehension and all like English stuff with other subjects, like trying to understand even the teacher saying something, would take me a while to understand.
Gotcha.
So my parents would tell me, do better, but I was like always just, come home, just not really put that effort into it, which I feel like everyone should do. But yeah, like my parents always wanted me to do good, which I did do good, but I wasn't like the top,
right.
like
right.
But I was just like trying to do my best during high school years, and But
so in elementary and middle school, when you would get home, what time are you getting home at? Like 2:30, 3 o'clock?
Back then, like 3 p.m.
Okay.
So school would finish at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And then so it would take an hour ride from the bus, so you would be home at like 4:15 and around.
Man, so you're spending a lot of time on a bus. Like, what are you doing on the bus? Just hanging out with buddies?
Yeah, just listening to music.
Okay, that's gotta be nice.
Yeah, but the other thing was like our school was, like here I've seen a lot of schools. You can take your phone to school.
Yeah,
you can take some kind of device but we were so like so the school was so strict. We would have to wear a uniform, black shoes, certain haircut.
Nice.
I also remember we were segregated too. So the boys had their side of recess, and the girls had their own side.
Really?
Even in a classroom, we were segregated.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a really culture shock when moving into the U.S., where a lot of things were different.
So so you're learning about the English culture in the international school. Did they tell you that the life was different as far as like the culture goes, and like they had to still practice the segregation, or how did that go?
I think we as students knew like even the teacher would tell us how it was different in other places, but there we just had to respect the culture where. Right. There are some schools still today that they are segregated. Some families like it that way because that's how they grew up. Right. And the cultures like that. So you just got to respect the culture and stuff. But there are some schools now where it's totally normal. They're mixed school now. So it is getting to a point where a lot of expats are coming in. Yeah. You would be shocked that a lot of people who haven't went to United Arab Emirates or Dubai will be shocked about a lot of how diverse it has become. You will see mostly more expats than
expats?
Basically expats like European people who are living in the UAE. So people from Europe or America. So and then you got the locals. Gotcha. So that's what we call the expats working there.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Dubai different than UAE, or what's the
UAE is the whole country.
Okay.
Dubai is just a city.
Gotcha.
In United Arab Emirates.
Gotcha. So. And the way it was described to me was there are the locals, and if you want to come work there, you have to get a visa, and they're pretty tight on the visas because if you do anything wrong, then they won't renew your visa. Is that kind of how that works?
So the visa process, I'm not really sure of it, but I know that everything. It's such a small country that I feel like it's controllable. Like they know the ins and out. They also, in order to someone has to sponsor you. Okay. So so if you're working, you can't. If you want to get a visa there to live for like a residence visa,
Yeah.
you would have to apply for like a business visa or
Gotcha.
get a license first. Then you can get a visa. So it's a difficult way to get a visa there unless you're working for a company that will sponsor you.
Okay.
And then a lot of people send their resumes from here. And then if they get a good multinational company where they have people, sponsoring them, and then they can bring their family. It depends on their package. So
Right.
That's how it works. So like, let's say if you weren't a local and you were studying in Dubai, let's say you were doing your university in Dubai, the university will say that he's a student going to there, so you'll get a visa.
Okay.
But once you're done with the university, your dad can't really sponsor you.
Okay.
So let's say your dad's been living there for, more than 30 years or something. And unless he still has his job in that company is sponsoring that family. But at a certain age, that company can't really sponsor you.
Okay.
So if you're above, I think, 21, you have to find your own way, especially when you're done with university.
So pretty much, if you want to be in Dubai or UAE, you got to have a job.
Or a license, if someone's sponsoring it. Mostly people there are, there because they're living there.
Yeah.
And they work there. Majority of them.
Right.
And then unless there are tourism, but most of them who are like the expats, I would say.
Yeah.
They're mostly working.
Okay. And then I was told that Jessica could walk around with hundreds of dollars in her hand and she wouldn't have to worry about anything because it's extremely safe.
Yeah. I would say it's one of the safest cities.
So how is it so safe?
I would say it's just like they have it down to them, like the security system. They really focus. They spend a lot of money on these technology where I feel even the police, I would say the police have technologies that they can find you in seconds.
Okay.
So they can know who left the country, who came in the country.
Yeah.
I have friends that are in the police. Like they could tell you better, but I know.
We'll get them on.
But from my concern, I've just seen like, they know if you do a mistake, you're gonna get caught. So you can't really run away from that, small country. Like
and then when you do get caught, is the punishment just being sent out of the country and then not being able to come back, or what is the punishment that everyone's like, we're gonna be good?
So if the punishment can like. It just depends.
Okay.
If you're an expat and if you got into, let's say, I remember back when I was a kid, one of my family friends or one of my mom's friends' husband didn't hit anyone, but he got caught drunk driving.
Okay.
So like a DUI, they didn't even put him. He just got deported. Yeah,
wow. Yeah.
And he can't really enter the country anymore.
Well, and that's more or less kind of what I heard was like you're lucky to be here.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay here, you got to be on your best behavior.
But I would just say best behavior is one thing, but I would just say they do it for the safety. Like you never know.
Absolutely.
They don't want to feel sorry for someone.
Right.
So I like what they're doing there, where it's better to be safe than sorry. Yeah. I would say that's their. But yeah, man. But there, whatever happens, but everything happens in Dubai. Yeah. You can go party there. You can, the people partying there.
Is there a place where you can consume alcohol, or what are the rules? Because are you allowed to have it on the street, or you had to stay in the hotel? What's not hotel, but the bar, or how does that work?
So you can't really walk around with alcohol on a normal street. Yeah. But there's a lot of bars there. You have a lot of clubs there too. A lot of people go to, and they like drinking there more because the environment, everyone's drinking there rather than just being outside. Right. So there's so many places. Yeah. I would say. there's so much alcohol there, you know. People will be shocked. You'll find alcohol that you probably won't find in the U.S.
Okay.
So,
So at a young age, was Dubai a destination that you would go to often, or what was it like growing up so close?
So Dubai, my dad just worked there.
Okay.
You know, for I think he was there since before 1990.
So when it just started popping off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back when like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And my dad told me he remembered the time where the first building, the tallest building came out there, and he said there was literally nothing, just roads, and you see that building and sand.
Okay.
And there's a before and after picture.
Oh, I've seen like the time lapses.
Yeah,
those are insane.
So you would see the first building, and that's when he came there, and he probably, majority of his life he just worked there. Mm-hmm. But my uncle was the real reason he got there in the first place. So it all started from my uncle, because he was an architect.
Oh.
So he was architecting houses and mosques and all that. So he was the one who brought my dad from Pakistan to the United Arab Emirates. But that time they were just sailors, but Right. So he remembers Dubai when it first started.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So did you go visit Dubai often, or like what was if you were to travel somewhere as a young kid, what did you guys?
So I would say United Arab Emirates, Sharjah, Dubai, what people say was my house.
Okay.
Home. I lived majority of my life there.
Gotcha.
My mom's parents and my dad's parents lived in Pakistan, which would occasionally visit here and there until some of the, I would say, the environment there started to, get corrupt. Right. So it was difficult to go there, unsafe to go there, to a point where I remember we used to go each year to Pakistan, visit my grandparents and stuff, until I remember one year where it was my mother's sister's wedding in Pakistan. Okay. And on the way back, and we were flying back to Dubai, and we were going to the airport, and we got robbed. While going to the airport.
Oh no.
Yeah, and that was a huge.
Ooh. So
I would say after that, ever since, I would say it's been.
How old were you?
I was probably like 12, 11.
So are they coming up to you with a gun? What's the situation?
So we were just going, my mom's dad's driving us to the airport. Yeah. And I remember, it's early in the morning. Like it's 6:30 in the morning. Flights at probably 8.
Who's robbing at 6:30?
That's what I would say. I would think it's at nighttime would be more scarier. But brightest day.
Hey, he's putting in the work.
Yeah, man. So I remember we're going, and it was like that old Suzuki
perfect
van, and just going to the airport, and then it's like a white car, Toyota Camry, and they stop us. Yeah. Funny thing, they're wearing police clothes, and they stop us, and they're saying, "Oh, we're looking for some drugs and stuff like that." And we were like, "Oh, okay." So they checked one stuff and other stuff until they saw where my mom had some of her jewelry. Yeah. That's when they're checking that bag, and we show it to them, and then that's when they put the bag in their car, and then they just run off. And I remember my mom's brother hanging into the car, and they were swerving. Yeah. And it happened so fast that it was just a shock. Right. It was I still remember vivid moments, and I remember it traumatized me as a kid. Okay. Just to go back to my home, my country where my parents are from. Yeah. And I was traumatized for so many years. And I think that's where it all started. That's when I started going to the gym. Okay. So that's where it all started, because I was so traumatized to the point where I was like, scared from like any guy I would see in Pakistan just walking out.
Yeah.
Just scares me,
Okay.
just because of a kid, you're a kid and it's something big just happened,
Right.
You see your mother crying, you see your uncle just on the floor. You're just like, whoa, it's what, like,
Yeah.
as a kid experience, you're like, wow, man, like what just happened? But thankfully, everything was okay. And we were just happy that no one got hurt.
Yeah.
My dad was back home in Dubai. So he was working. And we didn't tell him until we reached, because my mom was so scared, like, oh, what's going to happen? We still took the flight, We're like, it's what's the point? It's just, let's go back. So we went back. I remember we went back, and my mom was like, oh, like, what's going to happen? Like, she's scared. We met our dad, and we told our dad, and he's like, whoa, like, he was shocked.
Yeah.
And then the people did get caught, but we never got the stuff back.
Yeah.
It was just corrupt place, and I remember that traumatized me.
So what age was this?
I would say I was like 2011, maybe 2010. So I was 10 years old, maybe.
Okay.
10, 11 years old. Yeah. Because I remember 3-4 years after that, that's when I went back. 3-4 years or more, almost 5 years after that.
Okay.
So I must have been like 9-10 years old.
Gotcha. So you get off the plane, you tell your dad, and then you head to the gym.
At that time, I was like, just like, like, just going, just working out stuff, and then I'm like, and I got so, like, I was so traumatized. I was just like quiet all the time.
Okay.
So my dad was like, what's wrong with you, man? You're like here. But it just, those, vivid things would come in, like, like, it's like a movie scene going in your brain, because you're like, what just happened? And then you would not, as a kid, think like, oh, people could do that to you. Right. Or like, this has just really happened to me. Yeah. So I was just still playing soccer, and at that time. So I was still playing soccer, but it just like, I was still like, I have to do something to myself not to be scared. Gotcha. That fear was still in me. Everything would, like, little by little thing would, scare me. And I think that's when I just was like, I have to go to the gym.
And so when you got scared, or you were walking around or something like that, was it just like, did you get anxiety? Did you just kind of like get into a ball? Like, what would happen?
I would say like more like anxiety. Like, what is he gonna? I was always like aware of my. Gotcha. Like, okay, is this guy? What is this guy gonna do? What is that guy gonna do? Yeah. Like, or I would see this guy. I'm like, is this guy safe? Yeah. And weird thoughts in my head, because of that scenario that just happened. Right. But I never told anyone, like, like, it was just, how am I gonna go through this myself? Right. I didn't want to tell people, like, what really happened. So then my friend was going to the gym. I'm like, then I just went to, with them. Yeah. And they were working out. I'm like, why don't I just give it a try? I want to be big. And I saw other people, like, huge, like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be like that. And all right. And then probably not be as scared, or be athletic, at least defend myself, So that's when I just started. I think I started at age, I was like 15, 16.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So before that, what did nutrition look like? Did you have breakfast before you went to school? Was it at school? Like, what was that scenario?
Believe it or not, I was a fat kid, man.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's get it.
So nutrition was, I would just eat whatever, My mom was a good cook, so I would eat her food, and like, I would just love food. Until this day, I love food. And I would just eat whatever. Nutrition, breakfast, I never ate breakfast as a kid. I remember eating lunch and dinner. So mostly 2 big meals. Yeah. But breakfast wasn't for me at that time.
Well, it's got to be tough just getting on the bus at 6:30 and just trying to figure out what life is.
Yeah, so, but I wouldn't want to eat. I wouldn't like food in the stomach, so I would probably eat like at 12. Okay. That's what our lunch break was.
And what are we eating? Is it a cafeteria? Did we pack food?
So majority of the time I remember before I started the gym was like a hamburger. Okay. hamburger, some chips, and then maybe juice. So the same would be like 2 lunch breaks. So we would have 2 lunch breaks.
Nice.
So 2 burgers, I would say.
There you go. And what was the conversation around health, either at home or just like at school with your friends? Like, was there any conversation around health, or what did that look like?
Conversation around health got bigger as I started going into high school.
Okay.
So I got really into nutrition, trying to try different stuff. I tried different diets like keto, Frank Zane diet.
Okay.
The old school.
What was Frank Zane? Just a million calories a day?
So there's a keto diet and then there's a Zane diet.
Okay.
Which is basically like what they used in the golden days.
Okay.
Golden era. Which is, similar to the keto diet, but they eat mostly more fat and protein.
Okay.
So their energy source is basically, if I'm not mistaken, fat throughout the instead of carbs.
Yeah.
Because they believe that, if I'm not mistaken, they believe that carbs, they get stored as fat in your body. So they would use fat, and there's fats is more calorie dense. So
you could eat more.
You could, yeah. And throughout their training, it would. But I do think it works, but it works for certain people,
right?
And it has to be eaten like healthy fats, like you got cottage cheese, almonds, and I think people do get a mistake where they think, oh, I'm gonna eat a burger, I'm getting that fat in there. No, it's just very you gotta have to specifically know what kind of fats you're eating. So I really didn't like that kind of diet.
So was it your buddies that were doing that, or like where did you come up with like, hey, I'm gonna give this a shot for a while?
To be honest, everything was like research.
Okay.
I think the best thing I did was I bought the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding.
Okay, getting after it.
Arnold.
Yep.
It's a huge book, man.
That it is.
And that taught me a lot, from nutrition to everything.
Yeah.
And they're basically and I did that for a long time, and it helped me a lot as a kid. Until now, my diet's a little bit changed. But it was that 40-40-20%.
Okay.
So you would do 40% carbs, 40% protein, 20% fat.
Okay.
And Arnold did that throughout his career.
Yeah.
Until competition where you have to probably drop the carbs.
Yeah.
But that really helped me.
Okay.
And the calculations I was having around, I would say 180 grams protein. And
nice.
180 grams carbs.
Okay.
And then around 45 grams of fat.
So are you meal prepping this in high school, or how does that work?
Yeah, meal prepping. And my mom
Ooh.
was helping me too with
Nice.
cooking that stuff. But she would usually, my mom was, the main, I would say she helped me a lot. Like, cooked my meals, cooked the rice, cooked the chicken. But I would just go there and then weigh it out and then put it in like those containers and take it to school.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was like a discipline, And that's when I started changing. My body started changing. Started losing a lot of fat. But it was a process, man. I had trials and errors. Like sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. They would tell, where the point they say you gotta find out yourself. I really couldn't understand what they were trying to mean, like finding out yourself.
Yeah.
But you start to realize later on in life, like when you get older, oh, I'm feeling bloated. Oh, this food made me feel sleepy today. Or, oh, why was energetic? And this thing would like I would write down, okay, why am I energetic today? Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
Right.
What food I ate that day that made me feel that way.
Yeah.
Why I feel more recovered today. And just that's how I started learning. And I think I'm at a point now where I don't really weigh my food. I just know by heart.
Yeah.
How much I gotta eat, what I gotta eat. Is it okay? I just could balance it out. But back then, yeah, man, weighing scale, everything, just hard to the bone,
Was there ever a time where you wanted to stop using the scale, or you wanted to stop weighing it, or you're like, this isn't working, or like what was the hard times you went through while going through that stuff?
there was a lot of times of like nothing's working because
Yeah.
I remember I came to a point where it just plateaued.
Yeah.
You know, you come to a point where it just stops.
Mm-hmm.
And now it comes to a point like, is it my training? Is it my nutrition? But for some reason, I always trusted my nutrition. I'm like, no matter what, if I just eat clean and have my protein, I know I'll be fine.
Okay.
However, I knew I had to change my training. So even the times when I was like down, I just was like, there was times where I was like, I'm gonna quit this, man.
Yeah.
I don't see any change. I don't see any improvements.
Mm-hmm.
But I just trust the process, and I was like, you know what, just keep
Mhm.
you know, keep doing what you're doing. Just you're gonna get better.
So how did you work that through your head, or did you talk to somebody, or like what was the conversation other than like, I want to quit today? Oh, I'm going to trust the process. Like, what kind of tools did you have to keep you going?
I would say a lot of was, you know, asking people.
Okay.
A lot of was research too. And a lot of, you know, nowadays you got like TikTok, you got other podcasts.
Yep.
And there's so much information out there where I would say the biggest thing is experience.
Yeah.
And when someone who experienced the same maybe lifestyle you had or same scenario you're going through, and then he like shares the experience and tells you, oh, I went this through and I was down this too, but I just pushed through it.
Yeah.
So I would like listen to these videos. Back then was mostly YouTube.
Yep.
So you would watch these YouTube videos and they would say, yeah, like, you know, you're going to fail, or you're probably going to feel like shit, or you're going to feel like not good enough today. Just keep pushing.
Okay.
You know? So that just motivated. I'm like, okay, man, I'm going to just keep pushing then too. See where it takes me.
What was the heaviest you got to, or when did you, was it a weight? Was it like, oh man, I just don't feel good? Or like, what was kind of that for you?
I think the heaviest I ever got to was 200 pounds.
Okay.
And I think from my frame, 200 pounds was good enough because I'm like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah.
And 200 pounds, just like going out. I remember 200 pounds going up the stairs, I would just catch breath.
Yeah.
It was just.
And this was before you started working out? You were 200 pounds?
This was while I was working out.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I got into a point like 200 pounds. I was pushing weight.
Yeah.
Like I could.
This was like you were bulking, like you were trying to throw numbers up there, or
it was not numbers, just sloppy diet.
Gotcha.
I remember I just diet was gone, but I was training.
Yes,
I was eating whatever, but I was training, and
Yeah.
I was like going to school too.
Okay.
And it was just I was not into that much.
Yeah.
But the heaviest I got was like 200 pounds, and I remember it was not good.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta come down. I was pushing weight, like bodybuilding wise. It was fun. Like you're moving weight.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, everything feels light.
Yeah.
But like personally, like I couldn't even run a mile.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, it has to change. Something has to change. You know, and I knew diet was some of it, which I knew I could dial it down.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was like, it's training, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, I was eating almost the same way, like still eating the same. But I think as you get, you know, each time as you get older, your metabolism kind of slows down as a kid, or you're not doing as much as you as a kid. You know, as a kid, you're moving around, going to parks. You know, you're probably as I remember, you know, going out playing all day long.
Yeah, I think there's like 5 times when your metabolism changes, and like 3 or 4 of them are before you turn 18, and then I think from like 22 to 50, like your metabolism is more or less the same. It's just we stop doing as much shit. Like we just stop moving as much.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's like, it depends too. But like like athletes, for example, I read it somewhere where after 35, it just kind of just decreases.
Yeah.
Because that's the point. 35, it just slows down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think it's by like 20, 40 calories, but if you accumulate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it just depends on how active you are throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that active.
Okay.
At that time, I was, just working like, office job, not 9 to 5.
So is this is high school or after high school?
It was after high school.
Okay.
So this is like probably a year or two ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's rewind just a hair.
Yeah.
So we're going high school. Last year, senior year, do we have to find a job? Are we looking at college? Like, what are we getting pushed towards? Sports.
Right after high school, I was just like, we have to go. I knew I was gonna study abroad.
Okay.
My dad wanted me to send me abroad, so I knew I was gonna study like in the U.S., but I just didn't know where.
Okay.
So no job after high school. It was just I was just gonna go to university.
Yeah.
And graduated high school, and then came to Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Benedictine University.
Okay. Nice.
So, but I remember looking at the University of Aurora, so it's not far from here.
Yeah.
And Benedictine University.
Mm-hmm.
The Benedictine had a lot of Muslim community. I'm
Okay.
Muslim, so that's I leaned towards that school, and I loved it. Graduated, so studied accounting.
Okay. So your first year, you move in. Yeah, you've been with your family for an extended period of time. What was it like living on your own for a while?
It was fun.
Yeah.
But it was also like, damn.
Okay.
Because you're like living rent free.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is paid for. Food is paid for. Gas is paid for. Everything else is like paid for.
Yeah.
And then when you
how is your gas paid for?
Basically my dad.
Nice.
So
it's expensive these days.
Yeah, but I would have to thank my parents. They did a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, food, everything.
Yeah.
Now you come here, you gotta cook yourself, take yourself to places.
Yeah.
You got some responsibility, and
yeah.
It's just like wow,
Oh, so back at home everything was paid for. Gotcha.
Until I moved to the United States.
Gotcha. So living on your own, having to cook and stuff like that, did you have to find more discipline, or like what was your process there?
Like it was still a learning process, but I feel like discipline and just being responsible.
Yeah.
Was trying to find a job. Also working part-time and doing school and working out. Yeah. It was just like a lot, and living alone, especially when you're living alone, because you have to go home and cook. And
were you in an apartment? Were you in with a bunch of other kids, or how'd that work? Or dorms. That's the word I was
first
looking
year,
for.
my freshman year, I was in a dorm. Okay. And then after that, my sophomore and then junior, senior year, I started living off campus. Okay. So like in a house or an apartment. Mm-hmm. Right now I'm living in a house with 2 other volleyball guys. Nice. But my first year was in the dorm. Okay. And I remember the food was like from the cafeteria. Yeah. But all I would eat was like the chicken breast and whatever carbs I could find. Yeah. That would be it. Mm-hmm. Breakfast probably just be eggs. Yeah. But yeah, it was tough, man. Tough.
And then you said you were working part-time. Where were you working at?
Well, my first job was at the Moore Arboretum. Okay, nice. So right over there. Yeah. Was my first job.
Well, what were you doing there?
So they used to have concession stands. Yep. So like they have illuminations. Yeah. So it served like drinks like hot chocolate and stuff like that. Yeah. I loved it, man.
That's awesome.
The group of people, it was fun. Just it was my first. It was basically my first ever job. Too. Okay. So it was nice, getting your first paycheck. Was like, okay.
Yeah. What'd you do with the money?
I would say I think I bought like some gym stuff, to be honest. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So and like took myself out and ate. But yeah.
There you go. So are we hitting the school gym? Are we finding a different gym? What's it look like?
Mostly school gym.
Okay.
I do want to give a shout out to Coach Matt. Okay. He helped me a lot. he taught me a lot of stuff too, because I remember I was doing bodybuilding in high school,
Yeah.
and doing a lot of bodybuilding just tensed my body up. Like it just, I wasn't flexible, not athletic.
Yeah.
I was like, I had muscle,
Yeah.
but it's like, I remember a guy telling me, what's the point of looking like a Ferrari but having a Toyota engine inside? You know?
Hey, Toyotas are reliable. They're reliable.
You know, I agree. But he had the point, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And what he meant basically was like, what's the point of having all these muscle but not even able, at that time, man, I couldn't even run a mile.
Okay.
You know? So, or just do any kind of like, it was always just, because bodybuilding in general is an isolation. You know, you're isolating the muscle.
Yeah.
And compared to, you know, like these Olympic lifts where it's mostly a lot of muscles working at once.
Yep.
And when you're isolating a muscle and it starts to grow, it's not really capable of being, I've heard, as athletic as doing, let's say, you know, less isolation work where you're doing maybe, let's say, Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they tell kids. And if you really look at the Arnold's motor bodybuilding encyclopedia, he tells you to start with clean and jerks and power cleans.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and not directly going into, like, you know, these barbell curls,
right?
And, isolation work, which I later understood because I went directly into.
Well, absolutely.
You know, I want to have the biggest biceps.
I got to do what Arnold's doing.
Yeah, I got to do what Arnold's doing. But I remember it got me. I was not athletic, you know, and Coach Matt helped me do that. You know, helped me with. That's the transition of what he was doing. Made me go into CrossFit.
Okay, so was that during a gym class? Was he just a coach that was there, or what was he coaching?
So he's still a strength and conditioning coach at Benedictine University.
Yeah.
What I love about it is that he will focus with every athlete, and he will make them do exercises that will help you in the game.
Yeah.
And me, I wanted to be more like, I would say, a endurance athlete where I can run, bike, and not have a problem.
Yeah.
You're not I want to go for at least like 2-mile run and not feel sore the next day.
Yeah.
Because I could barely run a mile and feel sore the next day, you know? And that's where the transition of, you know, just my from bodybuilding to CrossFit came in.
Yeah. So you said you had school, work, gym. As your religion goes, how is that throughout your day, or like how does that play into your week or whatever? So
based on how my classes used to work, like if I had a morning class, then I would go to the gym like in the afternoon, and then do my morning classes, go to the gym, and then go to work. Okay. And then just repeat. And then if I have no morning classes, then I'll just go gym in the morning. Yeah. Then I would have class in the afternoon, then go to work. Okay. So I balanced it out. I wouldn't say I was the best at managing time, but I was just trying to get better at it each time, which I figured it out, but I'm still trying to figure it out, you know? Trying to, because if you can manage time, man, it's a tough thing to do. Yeah. But if you can do that, then I think you get a lot of things done. You said you didn't necessarily excel in school back in Dubai, but how did you do as far as college? So college was different. Okay. Because I went into something I was more like interested in. Okay. Where like was accounting. I was good at accounting in high school. So I was interested in high school from accounting, and then when I pursued it in college, was totally different. You know, so in a good way or bad way? In a good way. Okay, in a good way. So it was tough in the beginning, but got more interested. I did a intern too. Okay. So for accounting, liked it. So I did pretty good, way better in college than I did in high school.
What would you attribute that to?
I would say it's because of understanding English better, understanding what people like, the professor are saying this time. I could read better. Back then, reading was a problem in English. So understanding the stuff that's written in the books and stuff made it easier for me when I was in,
So as far as accounting goes, what are we... I mean, we had to balance a checkbook in high school.
Yeah.
Do you have to remember certain formulas, laws? Like, what's the toughest thing about accounting?
I think the toughest thing is, accounting in general. There's so much to it.
Okay.
There's auditing. There's tax. There's you can do bookkeeping, as you said. I'm still new to it, but I think. What the most difficult thing is remembering the rules.
Okay.
The rule books, because they're changing year around almost.
Really?
Every year, yeah.
That's a pain.
Yeah. So like I remember taking a tax class, and the professor was like, even he didn't remember some of the rules.
Yeah.
He would have to look back and remember certain rules, and then he would have to just. And till this day, he's CPA certified.
Yeah.
But he's saying they're yearly changing.
Yeah.
Which is I think that's the only hard part.
Gotcha.
Because how many rules can you remember?
Right.
And then when they're changed, you're like, oh, and some of them are like, oh, did they change? And
right.
Then you're like, yeah, man. So I think, but majority of the time, and I've worked in a small CPA firm, and it's mostly repetitive.
Okay.
But it does change around. Depends on.
So as far as like the taxes and stuff goes, why are a lot of these taxes being? Do you know why the taxes get changed, or does it usually mean like the government gets more money, or if you have a lot of money, you get to save more of that money, or like do you see a kind of trend as far as why things are changing?
I think a lot of I think like. Where I come from, I couldn't really tell you the best answer, but I think, the population is one thing, in my opinion. It's growing, and there's so many ideas people come up with. And
gotcha.
There's for example, in certain states, like I'm shocked. Like if you go to Dubai, for example, it's tax free. You only got the VAT tax.
What's that?
VAT tax. Which is a minor percentage. You mostly get it on like those foods and beverage, like energy drinks, cigarettes and stuff like that. They might bring in income tax.
Okay.
But
soon, or like they don't have income tax now?
I think they're bringing it soon. So there is already. So, but what's we were saying is if they do bring in income tax, would the expats, move back to their home country?
Gotcha.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they're going to figure out a way. But like, for example, here, let's say you go to a different state, they have different kind of tax.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. Like, some of the taxes don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I do not really get the idea of them because it is complex.
Right.
To me, where some of them, I'll be honest, I really don't understand. I couldn't really tell you the best answer to it.
So yeah, I guess if you're living in Dubai and the end of the year financial year rolls around, how do taxes work for you guys?
We don't pay any taxes.
How's the government getting money?
They're doing it from tourism and oil.
Okay.
There's other stuff I would say they basically could, be like tax. There's so many like other stuff they make money on, like the fines. They have these, or like other stuff. I would say, but most of the money the government makes is tourism and oil. So
when you say tourism, does that mean? Like, who's paying the government in that exchange? Or, like, is it at, like, all the restaurants are Dubai owned? Or, like, how's the money getting to the government?
As far as I'm concerned, like the money where they're making from, is from like the natural resource, because
Gotcha.
it's a very different government there.
Yeah.
So they have a ruler based, and each city has a ruler.
Okay.
And if I do remember where Dubai asked help from Abu Dhabi, which is the capital city. So if the government, if let's say the Dubai government is going through like a financial problem or something,
Yeah.
they will probably like Abu Dhabi would help them.
Just call them up and say we need some money.
And they support them through.
Okay.
Yeah, because Abu Dhabi, I do remember. I think it was if I'm not mistaken, around 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Where there was a financial recession in Dubai.
Yeah.
And Abu Dhabi supported them.
Okay.
Throughout that year. So the government funding does come from, I would say, a lot of tourism, natural resources, and people do ask like, how is the government making money? They have the money, so if they didn't, I'm pretty sure they would have.
No. I definitely know they got the money. I'm just trying to figure out how. So when you were in college, did you go back home very often, or what was the move there? Because it's a pretty long flight.
Oh yeah. So I remember when I went a year after that COVID. 2019.
Okay.
So I started in 2018. I think COVID came around 2019.
Yeah.
And I would go back home every year.
Okay.
So every summer I would go back home, visit the family, because it's a 15-hour flight.
Yeah.
You don't want to stay there for like a week or two. You
right.
want to be there for a long time. So I would go back every year, but 2019, COVID hit and I couldn't go back.
Yeah.
So I stayed in the United States for like 2 years until I went back. So yeah, but yearly trip every year. I just recently went now. So I would say every year I'll go back to Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you travel very many other places, or is it pretty much just home, or?
Just home.
Okay.
Most of the time. Because 15-hour, man.
Yeah.
I'm tired after that flight.
Absolutely. So we're going through junior, senior year of college. We know we're doing the accounting thing. Are we suggested to move back home and do accounting there, or what's the move for you?
So I just graduated. So I remember my.
When did you graduate?
I just graduated this past May.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I was just telling, I remember freshman, sophomore year when I was in college, I was like, what, do I want to go back or stay in the United States? But what I think, like, I'm probably going to stay here.
Okay.
Nice. The reason is because I would say United States has so much different, like, places.
Yeah.
You could go to Montana, for example. You've been to Montana.
Yep.
And then you can go to Wisconsin.
Yep.
It's so different, And then you could go to California, and then Arizona. And, they got everything here. Hiking and, you can. I've done, like, Minnesota and, like, just beautiful,
Yeah.
A guy who's been in the desert where you see sand everywhere, and then you come and see like just this like snow and like all the glacier water and stuff. It's just beautiful, man.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna stay here, look for something here.
Yeah.
But I just love it here, so I'm probably gonna stay here for
So back to the fitness stuff. The coach Matt is bringing you through some new stuff. How did you get introduced to CrossFit?
So he would make me do like I would see him do like certain exercises, like make him do power cleans, squat cleans, clean and jerk. So I remember him making his athletes do that, and I was like looking into that, but I was still not sure. So he was like helping me with just like being more flexible and everything, just stretching, showing me ways and other like bandit stuff.
Yeah.
Till a point when I went back to Dubai for the next summer, my brother was doing CrossFit.
Okay.
So he was very into CrossFit before I was.
Yeah.
And he was like, just try it, man. He was just like, come with me to the gym. And I remember my first workout.
All right. What was it?
It was I can't remember, but I remember it had box jumps and deadlifts.
Okay.
And my ego. And I was like,
What was it? An open workout, or it was just the whole workout was just box?
It was the whole workout was it was a workout, but the majority was the movement was a deadlift and box jumps.
Okay.
And I remember, man, just the ego. I just filled up the bar.
Yeah.
And I didn't even finish the workout.
Oh no.
I remember not finishing the workout at
Yeah.
all. And it was at that point I'm like, that just hit me.
Right.
I was like, damn. And I was
And
like,
how long ago was this that you did
I would
your first
say
one?
From now it's gonna be 2 years or a year and a half.
Man.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I remember, man, I didn't finish the workout and my brother's like, you okay? And I remember I just came off a 15-hour flight.
Yeah.
And I could have been jet lag, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't finish the workout. I was like, I just quit because I was about to throw up.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, you know. And that point, I'm like, it just humbled me because it's like, I thought I was fit, but I really wasn't. You know, because I thought I was doing these bodybuilding work. I looked muscular.
Right. Yeah.
Like I had muscle, but I was not fit.
Yeah.
You know, like I couldn't deadlift and box jump. Like,
Yeah.
really, man? Come on.
Yep.
So at that time, I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like, I just
Okay.
want to join CrossFit. I just stopped bodybuilding. And my brother was the one who, man, he took me
got
to the
you.
gym. Yeah.
He got you.
He hooked me up, man. So yeah, ever since that, like, I just started to learn and just trying to learn the movements.
So how'd you find Amplify when you started
So
just looking around?
I was like, I used to go to Benedictine University,
Yep.
and it's like down the road.
Okay.
From Benedictine University.
Yeah.
But I did look like into other CrossFit boxes, like because the one my brother went to, CrossFit Elioth, it's an insane gym.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen CrossFit athletes go there, so I knew what a good CrossFit box looked like.
Gotcha.
But the community was the biggest thing for me. Like the community there, like the people there.
Yeah.
And Amplify has that community.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, absolutely.
They have people that push you. Like
Yep.
you've seen that, you know, Tyler, Spencer,
Yep.
Will, just everyone. And you see like those. I don't really. Sorry if I don't know their names, but the older people, man, they're fit too. You know, you've seen it yourself. You
Oh,
go
absolutely. I'm just like, how are you doing this? And like, I'm supposed to be a young spry kid, and then they're moving that big weight. I'm like, man.
Yeah, and then you see like I'm 23, and they're like in their like 30s and 40s, and they're like pushing that kind of like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be like that when I'm your age, you know, because I'm like young, and I feel like, you know, some of my body parts not working that well. But yeah, man, there's no community like Amplify. You know, CrossFit Amplify. Like the ones that I've seen, I haven't seen like that. So that's what made me choose CrossFit Amplify.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
So when did you start adding in like so much volume? Because I don't know if anybody else follows you on Instagram, but you'll post like 2 workouts and then you'll end up in the gym. So when did you start throwing in so much volume?
I think this past summer, man.
Okay.
This past summer was, I would say this year.
Yeah.
Was the difference.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was living off campus, and I was riding my bike everywhere.
Yeah.
Even during the winter. Because I had the old Ford van, 90s 90 Ecoline van, would just give me 10 miles to 13 miles per gallon. Oh. So I was like,
gas was expensive.
Yeah, gas got up, and I was like, and especially when it's giving me 10 miles per gallon on a road like that, I was like, I gotta figure out something, man. I gotta save money somehow.
Yeah.
So that's when I bought a bike last year, and I was biking everywhere. And I was biking to school, biking to work, and slowly by slowly, I felt that biking just, felt like it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So I would bike every day.
Yeah.
And then go to the gym. And then I was doing like small runs.
Okay.
When I mean small runs, that's like a mile.
Yeah.
Or 2 mile run. And I would do that every day. Bike, workout, run. Bike,
so
workout,
when you decide to run, are you like, hey, I have this goal of running a mile a day? Or when you set a goal, like, what's your process?
My goal was just run a mile a day, but nonstop.
Okay.
Because I couldn't run without pain. Okay. I had like weird, like my lower back would tighten out so much when I would run. I don't know if it was my hamstring or something, but I knew it was because my muscle weren't used to it.
Gotcha.
I used to run not that much. I would just lift.
Yeah.
So my goal was just run a mile, but just run it nonstop.
Okay.
And it just got better each time.
Wild.
Just slowly.
Yeah.
Until a point where a mile didn't feel much. I did 2 miles. 3. And then I just started doing, just got every day, just got more and more. Until I found like I do now like every day 12 miles. Every day. I did 12 miles yesterday.
Oh, yeah, you post about it.
I know,
all the
yesterday
time.
Everyone was like complaining about the heat. You're good. But yeah, man. And the thing is, the hotter it is, that's more I love it. Yeah. And I love it when it's so hot out there and the sun's shining and you're just sweating out there. And I did one yesterday.
So how long did it take from you doing like a mile a day to making it 12? Like, does it take a year, 6 months? Like, what was that time frame like?
I would say it took me 6 months.
Okay.
6 months. But I think
that's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I was, and it happened just by, I would say, purpose.
Okay.
Because I was just like, okay, I'm going to go run from my house to downtown Naperville and back. Yeah. And I'm going to just see how I feel. Yeah. And I remember the first time I did it, it was just like horrible. Yeah. Because it was like 6 miles there and 6 miles back. Okay. So the 6 miles there felt fine, but the 6 miles back was just like,
you got to go back.
Yeah, you're like, there's no way back. Yeah. So your just legs are cramping and but then the next day I did it again. Okay. But it felt easier, Gotcha. I'm like, whoa, okay, just in a day? Like I was like, damn, I didn't expect like in a day just to feel that much of a difference. Because your body's like, okay. Right. And it's what's coming.
I guess we're doing this.
Yeah. You know what's like, and I think my mind also like I would put my mind into is like, you're being in more pain than this, man. Yeah. Just keep moving. Yeah. So I would say also the mental thing comes in towards the last. And you have like other people. Mm-hmm. I know people that do 25, 30 miles a day. Yeah.
So day. Did you ever miss a day? And if so, like, would you be like, oh, well, it's over now? Or how did you get yourself to do it the next day?
So, man, there's days I would just like sit in the chair and like, okay, I'm gonna go for a run. Yeah. And it's been an hour since I said that. Then an hour.
Okay, Goggins.
And then basically, just I'll be honest, I'll watch those videos and like put my shoes on, and then the thing is just get out of the house. Yeah. The main thing is just getting out of the house, and you're like, well, you started now, and you just gotta finish it. Yeah. Like they say, whatever you start, you gotta finish. And there's times, man, I just don't want to go for that run. Yeah. Like it's just like, oh, you gotta go there. run, I'm back. But I think it's like a routine thing now.
Yeah.
Like, you just put on your shoes and then you just go.
Yeah.
And
so it seems like we got all this physical health stuff down. What do you do for your mental health?
I would say that 12-mile run, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Because during the 12-mile run, I got so many thoughts going in my head too. Like, I would say these thoughts could be, like maybe something I did wrong or something I could have done better, And it's always towards the end of the run, always when it's the hardest part of the run and you're just trying to finish.
Yeah.
And I think the mental battle is like, and mostly is because from, as the past trauma, and I've seen that trauma and the hurt, and it just there. And I know I've just tell myself it. You're being more hurt than before. Just keep moving, man.
Okay.
So the mental health, that 12-mile, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that the 12 miles that I do every day have also strengthened my legs.
Okay.
Like I squat clean more than I used to.
Yeah.
Even though I'm running almost every day.
Yeah.
You would think like my legs feel,
yeah,
kind of weak, but no, man. Like that running really does.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it does is it strengthens your leg.
Yeah.
It strengthens the muscles too, and it gives you that longevity as well for the workouts.
Yeah.
So especially in CrossFit, when you have like these, I would say AMRAPs, and like you said, you did the workout on Monday. Right?
Well, no, I didn't do the workout on Monday. Everyone was complaining about their abs.
Okay.
And I did whatever the V-ups were the other day, and I was like, man, if I did the GHDs, that would have been rough.
So, if you saw the workout, like it really helped me because I was getting tired 3 a.m. because you had double unders and GHDs, but and you're doing like 80-90%, which is really heavy, man.
Yeah.
Especially when your heart rate is going that high. But what helped me was that when those runs, when your heart rate is high and your legs almost are fatigued, that really helped me. And I was like, okay, whoa, and like that's, and then I found another reason of why I should be. And like, because that's what I feel mentally, like it is helping me. And if it is helping me, like, and I do see the improvements, then why not? I'm going to just keep doing it.
Hey, absolutely. So what's next for you? Do you plan a year out, 2 years out? Like, what do you got for yourself?
I really want to like the goal is like in the future, like I hope and I dream is just to like, do those CrossFit games. Mm-hmm. But I know like it's a lot of work. Yeah. But I just want to be, better each time I could be. Yeah. And, like do these small competitions that, Will and Tyler and Spencer are doing. Yeah. And slowly progress, get better at like a lot of movement. I still got a lot to learn, man. Yeah. But, just do small competition. High Rocks is one of them on my calendar.
Yeah, which one are you doing?
The one in Chicago.
Okay, when's that coming up?
November 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotta make sure I'm out of town so I don't sign up for it.
So, but that's, I think, the most recent one that I'm thinking of doing. Yeah. I've done certain workouts. Mm-hmm. But I'm very confident. Like, I feel good about it. And
the thing for me that's going to kill me is the run in between every event or every station. I'm like, probably should run more.
I think that the toughest part for me is going to be the burpee jump.
Yeah. You don't like burpees?
It's not that I don't like them. Yeah. It's just like, I want to push through it, and I know like the heart rate goes. Yeah. But I think I would the burpees and the sled push. Mm-hmm. But the run, because there are fast runners in the High Rocks.
Yeah. Man. I have a buddy that I met online, and I was helping him with his stuff, and he was telling me his sprint, his splits, and he's just flying. Mm-hmm. Like he was a college runner. Like it's just like he's loving it. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, so the thing is, the way we would, like, I wouldn't say I'm a fast runner, so I would have to pace out, like, the row, and that's where you got to catch him up, because there's really
he just joined a rowing team online, and now his splits are phenomenal. I was like, that was my only chance. Like, that's, like, he's maybe 30, 40 pounds lighter than me, so, like, the sled and stuff, but yeah, he's just an animal, and as are you with the progressing days. So we'll finish things up with the last two questions that everyone gets. What's your definition of health? Not necessarily the dictionary definition, but what is health to you?
I think health to me is, first of all, how's your mental and physical health?
Okay.
So you could look the way people think, oh, you need to have muscles, you need to have abs or something, to be fit or be healthy. No, not necessarily.
Okay.
If you're happy, if you can do like normal things throughout the day, maybe go for a walk, maybe go for a jog, and if you're living happy, mentally happy, and if you're physically, fine, I think that's health for me, because there's so many health fitness goals for different people.
Right.
It's not for us. Some could be, being the biggest guy on stage. Some could be the fittest guy here, like CrossFit. But some is just like, oh, maybe, I want to play with my son.
Right.
Or I want to go out with my, do this with my daughter. Or, something active. And you're happy, Happiness has to come with it too.
Absolutely.
Because that's how you're going to be mentally happy. Because if you're not mentally happy, you're probably not going to be physically happy.
Yeah.
And it goes out with the same thing. If you're not physically, healthy, then, mentally it's going to drain you down.
Yeah.
So they go hand in hand. And if you feel like you're both happy in both ways and you feel both are healthy, that's health for me.
I love that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And then what's something from your life that you think people listening to the podcast would be able to take away as a benefit?
I think anyone benefit, I would say, if you want to get into something and you love it, you got to love what you got to do. Okay. That's one thing. If you don't love it, you're not going to really enjoy it. So enjoy it, love it. And also I would say is keep learning. Okay. Don't be I think there's times where I have been arrogant, where not, I feel like I know everything. Yeah. But actually, in reality, you have a lot to learn. Yeah. And so just keep learning and keep learning in the field you want to excel in. It could be, CrossFit, bodybuilding, or just in general, just in your career. It could be anything, work or anything. I would say, just keep learning. And I would say if you put, consistency and discipline in it, you're probably gonna get up there, man. Slowly but surely.
Hey,
slowly but surely.
There you go. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.